Have you ever seen an underdog like really, really dig hard deep to prove that they're not an underdog?
I mean,
Well,
kind of.
if that doesn't remind you of C&S Grocers, I don't know what will. Okay.
Oh,
And let
boy.
me explain. So
Okay.
if you remember, C&S Grocers was the one that was going to get all the stores from Kroger and Albertsons when they merged. We
Yeah,
were talking
right.
like close to 800 stores, but the federal government said they were not prepared or ready for 800 stores. Okay.
Yeah.
And since the Kroger merger didn't go through, just, in the last couple months, you heard that C&S Grocers teamed up with Southeastern Grocers to buy back all the Winn-Dixie stores from Aldi, right?
Yeah.
Well, now C&S Grocers is about to buy SpartanNash, okay?
Okay.
SpartanNash has about 20,000 employees and operates a network of grocery stores and food distribution centers across 18 states. It's mostly in like the Midwest and along the East Coast, okay?
Okay.
Now, under this deal, this is where I'm telling you, every time I see a story about C&S, I'm like, I have so many questions. Okay. So the total deal is 1.77 billion with a B. Okay? And C&S Wholesale Grocers are going to pay $26.90 per share of SpartanNash stock. That's a 52% increase in value just from last week. Because as of last week, SpartanNash stock was trading at $17.64.
Okay.
Okay. So it kind of brings up questions like, did they way overbid on this?
Yeah.
Usually you see where they pay like 10% above current stock price. Very rare do you see a 52.5% increase. Okay. And kind of brings up questions of how exactly are they able to afford this when, remember, not so long ago, they had to let go a bunch of employees.
Yes.
I'm just saying it seems strange. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
And they were going through like a restructuring to save money and stuff, but all of a sudden they managed to pull $1.77 billion, out of the corner.
As one does.
Anyway, yeah, right. So, but here is where this is actually a much better deal for C&S Grocers than the partnership they made to purchase the Winn-Dixies back. Okay. Because remember, we talked about part of the whole point of getting the Winn-Dixies was because they were already the distributor to Winn-Dixie. So by them buying Winn-Dixie, they had kind of like the front and the back end as far as profit goes. This merger would combine SpartanNash's network of nearly 200 brick and mortar grocery stores and 18 food distribution centers.
Okay.
Because you see what I mean? Because SpartanNash had their own distribution centers. And the reason why they have it is because SpartanNash, they actually, you may not be familiar with that name. Okay. No. But they actually have numerous brands. They're Family Fare, E&W Fresh Market, Forest Hills Food, Martin's Supermarkets. And so they have their own distribution centers to then push food out to all of those 200 stores. Okay. So it makes sense for C&S Grocers to buy it because they're basically buying their distribution network, which is going to expand their distribution network. Now, the combined company of SpartanNash and C&S would then have a total of over 200 grocery stores and nearly 60 food distribution centers. Okay, so that's a good amount.
Okay.
And it says those distribution centers would provide wholesale groceries to close to 10,000 independent supermarkets and retailers. And then let's see here. It says, in addition to the network of 200 grocery stores and the food distribution centers, it says that SpartanNash currently provides groceries to 2,300 independent retail locations, which also includes U.S. military commissaries and exchanges. So those are all areas that C&S would be very happy to get into.
Right. Okay? Yeah. Holy cow. Okay.
Yeah, so it's big. Remember that before this deal, C&S, they own 11 Grand Union grocery stores in New York. and Vermont. They're located in Vermont too. And then it also owns a couple Piggly Wiggly stores in the Midwest and South and North Carolina. Okay.
Yeah.
But even then, so we're talking like they own about 30 stores, and now they're going to jump up to about 230 stores. Okay. Which is still way less than the 800 that they would have taken on.
Right.
But I have a good feeling that they're going to keep everything the way it is. Like if you go grocery shopping and it's called Martin's Supermarket, it's probably going to stay that way. And honestly, you're probably not going to notice any difference. You may notice that there's some products that you may get because C&S already carries them, but whatever products you're used to getting, you would probably stay the same.
Yeah.
Now,
Well,
there was a little talk about the company said the deal would, of course, expand their food distribution network for independent retailers. They're saying it would create greater efficiency and scale. Because remember, we talked about the bigger the grocery store, the better the deals they get.
Yeah.
And so the bigger they get, the better their discounts get.
Yep.
And then it says it would preserve community grocery stores and pharmacies. And it also says that being able to operate at a larger scale, supported by combined innovative capabilities of the two companies, enables a more efficient supply chain, as well as the ability to secure the best possible delivered cost of goods and promotional discounts. And they say that is expected to translate to better pricing for community retailers and at the shelf for consumers. I mean, toss up. I don't know that it's actually going to lower prices all that much. You'd have to see, you can't really look at C&S as a grocery store chain because they only own those two chains. And they're all so far apart from each other, they don't really have like standardized pricing. Like the pricing at Piggly Wiggly is going to be different than at Grand Union in New York. Yeah. So normally, like when Harris Teeter was bought by Kroger, Harris Teeter prices tended to be a little higher than Kroger. So if you were a loyal Harris Teeter customer, when it got purchased by Kroger, some prices did go down. Okay.
Yeah. For continuity's sake, like there's it doesn't make sense to like have a store with higher price points for the exact same thing across 2 streets over. You know what I mean? Because then you're trying to figure out what's what.
Speaking of, there are multiple instances where you can have 2 different Kroger-owned stores in the same city, and one is considered a high-end Kroger, and one is considered a low-end Kroger. Same products, same obvious Kroger brand name, private selection, and the prices are way different. So I'm just saying it's not normal, but it does happen. So I don't really think that the prices will change that much. It may just be that they offer a few extra deals, you know, maybe they have better sales prices in like their weekly ads, but I don't see them slashing prices all over the place.
My faith in corporate America to go, hey, look, these things are cheaper now because we can buy higher quantities of them. Let's make it cheaper for the consumers. The bar is so low. Like
it really is.
My expectations are non-existent. Like that doesn't even feel like an option. Like when I find something and the price has actually gone down on it, I am thoroughly shocked. Thoroughly shocked.
Absolutely. So let us know down below. Do you currently shop at one of the SpartanNash brands? This deal is expected to close by the end of 2025. It's pretty much gotten all the regulatory, approvals. So it doesn't look like anything's going to stand in their way. So let us know down below. Are you excited? Do you think you're going to see any changes? On the plus side, it doesn't look like any stores are going to close, and that's always a good thing. So let us know your thoughts on this merger down below.